You're watching CBS News Los Angeles, The Rundown.
Hello and good afternoon. I'm Juan Fernandez. Here's a look at your top stories. We begin with breaking news. One person is dead and another injured after an avalanche at the Palisades Tahoe resort near Lake Tahoe. Tori Apodaca has the latest.
Sheriff's Office, they confirmed that one person is dead and another person is injured from this avalanche that happened at around 9:30 this morning. It happened on KT 22. We did speak with one skier who was on that lift as the avalanche happened. She told me just what a traumatic experience it has been for her today. Her name is Jen Winkleplex. She is a local, an avid skier. She said she is just so grateful that she was not in the midst of the avalanche, but she did help with all of those search and rescue efforts. And her heart, of course, is just going out to those families of the victim and the other people who were caught up in it and injured. She did say that the bus that she had been waiting for was 5 minutes late, and if it hadn't have been 5 minutes late, she would have already been on that mountain skiing down it. A tight-knit community, they're always looking out for each other. She told me that as she was on the lift and they saw that avalanche coming down, she said immediately once they were jumping into action, they were just jumping off the lift and grabbing any skiers who were on the mountain, trying to help people. She told me that there were survivors that they were able to recover. But again, the Placer County Sheriff's Office confirming with us that one person is dead and another person is injured. Right now, we're out at Palisades, and we, of course, will continue to keep you updated, but definitely just a traumatic experience for a lot of people.
And we'll have much more on this story coming up at 4 o'clock right here. Well, the avalanche came as a powerful storm moves through the region, and KCAL News meteorologist Olga Ospina has details, plus our local weather in your next weather forecast. Olga.
Yes, and you know, we are seeing an incredible amount of snow to our north, the Sierra Nevada, and of course that avalanche in Tahoe. You can see it right here. A lot of snow that is impacting that region. For us, we're still looking at dry conditions, but we're going to get in on some snow, on some rain, and on some very gusty winds, as well as elevated surf and coastal flooding a possibility. So a lot to get to. Wednesday, for the rest of the day, you will be dry. However, overnight hours, we start to see some wet weather moving through and also some snow. That is going to heavily impact those mountain communities, as well as if you are traveling through those mountain passes, as levels will be dropping down to pass level as we head into the overnight hours and the early part of Thursday. So not recommended to travel through those areas. If you do, just be aware there could be some delays or even closures. Wet weather, not a huge part of the story. We'll get a little bit of wet weather for some of us, a few light showers, but that's going to move out very quickly as well. Look at what happens by Thursday, late morning into the afternoon hours. We are going to be dry and will continue dry as we head into the next several days. So let's talk about winds. Very gusty winds out through mountains, deserts, valleys, even some coastal communities out through Malibu, through PCH. We're looking at gusts nearing 60 miles per hour. We could be seeing down trees, down power lines, and travel, of course, because of all that snow and those gusty winds, making it really difficult to travel through those areas late tonight into early Thursday. Futurecast wind gusts showing us that those winds become a little more widespread as we head into the overnight hours and into early Thursday. The good news is this moves out very quickly. Already by the afternoon hours, we are left with some very light winds continuing to weaken as we head into late Thursday and into Friday. Really some very calm conditions. All right, let's talk about the beaches, because we are looking at high surf. We have coastal flood advisory as well. This is again today into tomorrow afternoon. And especially the biggest risk of coastal flooding will be during high tide, and that's going to be in the 8 a.m. hours. So keep that in mind if you are headed to the beach. Meanwhile, let's talk about those low temperatures tonight into early tomorrow. Still some more cold numbers, 40s and 30s, even 20s across some areas, places like the Antelope Valley, as well as teens up in Big Bear City. Tomorrow afternoon, still a cool one. 50s and 60s will be the daytime highs for most of us, and then we warm it up just a bit more as we head into early next week, and that's going to get us a little bit closer to average in the upper 60s on Monday into Tuesday. And enjoy the weekend. We're looking at temperatures still pretty close to average, as well as some sunshine. Juan.
Olga, thank you. More news now. Crews in Orange County are working along the coast to build up the beach where sand has eroded from the shoreline. KCAL News reporter Michele Gile in San Clemente with a preview.
So this is the material that you see right here, this dark pile filled with rocks that San Clemente officials are concerned about. What they were expecting is white sand to replenish their beach right next to the San Clemente Pier, but that is not what the dredger pumped out. So they are reviewing this project. What they're doing is talking with the supervisor to determine how they can get white sand pulled from the ocean floor near Oceanside and brought over by a barge and then dredged and pumped onto the beach here. So that's the issue in San Clemente. They say that most definitely this is not going to be what ends up on the beach. It may be a base or a layer for the sand, the white sand that's eventually brought in. We were here a few weeks ago when they kicked off this sand replenishment project. It is much needed, city officials say, to widen this beach. It's about a half-mile stretch right near the San Clemente Pier. You can see that the train is moving behind me here. It's also, the widening project is designed to protect the train tracks because they are so close to the ocean, and in storms the tracks are impacted and have to be closed. So again, this is the pile that we're talking about, filled with the rocks and that dark material that San Clemente officials say they certainly don't expect will be covering their beach.
And we'll have more from Michele coming up at 4. And now to breaking news. Chris Christie has suspended his 2024 presidential campaign. The former New Jersey governor's announcement comes just days before the Iowa caucuses. At a town hall in New Hampshire today, Christie says, quote, "My goal has never been to be just a voice against the hate and division and the selfishness of what our party has become under Donald Trump," end quote. He continued to say, "I've always said that if there became a point in time in this race where I couldn't see a path to accomplishing that goal, that I would get out," end quote. So stay with KCAL News for the very latest 2024 election updates. We'll have more at 4. This has been CBS News Los Angeles, The Rundown. I'm Juan Fernandez. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back here live at 4 right here on CBS News Los Angeles.